We have significant breaking news tonight on the Arizona Coyotes' new arena proposal. The residents of Tempe have voted no. We'll discuss what this means, some statements from the team and the NHL. We'll review all that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here, Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned earlier in the video, of course, many of you already knew, today was a critical day for the future of the Arizona Coyotes to have a long-term viable arena solution to remain in the state of Arizona on a long-term basis. We know this franchise has been looking for a long-term arena deal for quite some time. They've been in the state of Arizona for 30 years, but obviously had a lot of losing money, and it's been a long time since they've been stable and looking for a long-term home. Of course, they thought they finally found a solution in Tempe, Arizona, where they had a proposal before City Council to build a new arena and entertainment district. City Council seemed to be on board and put this to a public referendum, which was the vote taking place today. Of course, many residents had already passed their ballots in through via mail-in ballots ahead of time. But today, of course, the results were released tonight. The results are not 100% official, but at this point, it looks like the opposition has too big of a lead that it's once it's fully tabulated and 100% confirmed and official, that the yes side just cannot catch up. The no vote has a 56% support, while the yes vote has 44%. So that's a big gap, and it's obviously a crushing blow to the hopes and the future of the Coyotes for this project and to remain in the state of Arizona. Obviously, it's not what they were hoping for by any means. I know Coyotes fans are likely going to be sad by this, but they're certainly not, this is not new to be facing adversity. This franchise, like I said, has been facing obstacles and adversity for the bulk of the time of their existence in the state of Arizona. Obviously, Gary Bettman has tried and, pretty much refuses to give up making this work in Arizona. We'll have to see what the long-term solutions are. But like I said, they've been having a hard time finding a long-term arena deal, and this one looked like what many thought was their last hope. Now, of course, the team is disappointed. The NHL is disappointed. We do have a statement from the team here tonight from Xavier Gutierrez, who says that they're very disappointed that Tempe voters did not approve Propositions 301, 302, and 303. As Tempe Mayor Corey Wirt said, this was the best arena deal in the history of Arizona. He then goes on to say in his press release here that everything was going to be evaluated by the team in the NHL in the coming weeks. And he departed the press conference without taking any questions from reporters and looked visibly shaken. So obviously, absolutely disappointing news. And you can tell, like I said, based on the statement and everything, that they're absolutely crushed. Now, of course, the NHL has put out a statement via Gary Bettman as well, where he says that the NHL is terribly disappointed by the results of the public referendum regarding the Coyotes Arena project in Tempe, and we're going to review what the options might be going forward. While many people certainly think that one of the main options is going to be relocation. We've talked about the Coyotes being a candidate for relocation for a long, long time. This has been quite the topic, and they seem to always manage to stick around and survive, even though the team hasn't been profitable, has lost a lot of money over several years. But this might be the end. I mean, we're going to have to see. I mean, they are, I'm sure, we're going to explore other options before that decision is made. But look at what happened with the Atlanta Thrashers when things get to the point that the NHL knew that the team needed to move. They were able to make a move quickly when they went to Winnipeg. I know I've seen some Arizona reporters saying that they don't think it could be relocated for next season. I absolutely think it could be if they decide to make that decision fairly quick. Now, that is not necessarily going to happen. You got to remember, they do have a commitment to play at ASU for the next few years. So they could stick around, continue to play there, and continue to search for other options and solutions. But I know part of the plan with the ASU agreement as well was to play there while their arena was being built, and while they were going through that process. With that vote being a no now, and that solution kind of being dead, at least it looks that way. I don't know if that's really a long-term viable solution. Now, of course, on top of the vote, even if it had voted yes, it wasn't a guaranteed slam dunk that there was going to be shovels in the ground prepping to land here ASAP. There's still outstanding lawsuits that could possibly get in the way. Of course, the land itself needed a lot of work to it. Of course, it's a landfill site near the airport, so there's a lot of it's a unique situation there. I don't know. I mean, obviously, people looking to Houston, looking to Salt Lake City, looking at Quebec City. There is all kinds of NHL interest around various cities. We see NHL franchises are certainly a hot commodity right now. Case in point with the Ottawa Senators, going through a sale process right now as well with their bids just going in yesterday. 4 bids, with one of them around $1 billion. And certainly the Senators are not one of the league's highest valued teams. I mean, certainly, I think a lot of people with money and deep pockets are kind of taking notice and, getting more interested in getting into the sports ownership game. So certainly it's a scenario where there's lots and lots of interest. There'll be no doubt. But obviously to move for next season, they'd have to go to a city that's already ready and have the facilities and everything lined up. You don't have time to build an arena over the course of one summer, obviously. So we'll have to see what this means, but it could spell the beginning of the end of the Coyotes in Arizona. We'll have to see if they can quickly come up with any other propositions or solutions to remain there. Be interesting to see further statements from the team in the NHL in the next couple of weeks as they sort this out. It's going to be interesting for sure. But let me know your thoughts. I know a lot of people are probably going to comment and say send them to Houston because that seems to be where I know a large contingent of people want to see them go to. I'm sure that the NHL would probably prefer them to remain in the West because they already have even conferences now after many years of having uneven conferences. So certainly a scenario where, they have a Western Conference team. If that team needs to move, they prefer to stay that way. I don't really think there's any teams in the Eastern Conference that would agree to move to the Western Conference. So to put them in Quebec City would create an unbalanced approach. So I don't see that happening, even though the Quebec arena is there ready. They are certainly able to take a franchise on ASAP. There's no doubt about that. For example, they just had 2 playoff games a couple days ago in the League Championship Series with the Quebec Ramparts who played in Quebec City against the Halifax Mooseheads, where they had 18,000 plus sellout crowd. So if they can sell out junior hockey, there's absolutely no doubt they can sell out NHL hockey. So I know they're there and they're ready. I just don't know that the league is going to want to go there, at least not under this scenario. So we'll have to see. Let me know your thoughts on the vote. Let me know your thought on the future of the Coyotes. What does this mean? Are we likely looking at relocation? Where is the most likely landing spot for them should that happen in the next little while? So let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it further down in the comments. I certainly do feel bad for Arizona fans. I know they've been through a lot. They were really hoping for a yes, and everything that I had seen and suggested leading into this certainly looked like it was trending towards being a positive outcome, and that doesn't seem to be the case here now. And I know Frank Saravalli also reported on dailyfaceoff.com that from what he heard is the yes campaign, the Tempe yes people that were pushing to obviously to get the yes votes didn't spend anywhere near what their opposition did pushing the no vote. And it's believed that the people campaigning against the project spent at least a couple of $1 million campaigning for no, whereas they spend anything around, it's estimated around $250,000. So certainly the ones that were in opposition were out in big numbers, spending big money to get their message across. I know there's some that said there was false information. I can't speak to that. That would be more of a local, aspect that I can't speak to. But at the end of the day, they certainly look like they're getting their way here, and it's unfortunate for Coyotes fans. But let me know what you think is next for the Coyotes, and we'll talk about it further. Otherwise, stay tuned for further updates on this and all the rest of the NHL news from around the entire league. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.